Hello everyone, this is Robert Radford of 50 Years Chess. I've got an interesting game for you, but first of all, let me just tell you about this person. The name is Steinitz Hawk. That's a very cool name, after the Steinitz, after the first world chess champion, Wilhelm Steinitz. But I like the idea of putting a Hawk on the end, very good. Got a good ring to it, hasn't it? I tried to do some research, as I always do on my opponents, if there's no picture or anything. So I have a look for them. And when I looked up Steinitz Hawk, there's several. I think there's a whole family of them. There's a man from Mauritius who I found, who hasn't been on here long, on the Arena Chess. I don't think it was him, because when I looked up at the player I played, the person I played was had this picture that I've got up there. That was the person I played, and the rating was higher than the one I found. This guy is 1691. That's the Federation Master title, which is no doubt the strength he plays at. I also found out something else. There's a female, I believe, as well, and maybe one more male. But looking at this picture, I know that this is a young person, unshaven, looks very young. The other one, which is a picture like this one you can get, which has got a beard, which makes you realise that's an adult. And there's one like this one with no facial hair and long hair. And that can be a female or a young girl, a female. So there are different pictures for different people. They put these on for members who don't have a picture to put up or don't wish to. They put these up to fill the space, I guess. Now this young man, his rating is 1691, which is pretty good, a lot higher than mine. And I looked up his games, and he's played 6,918 games while he's been on Arena Chess. And he's won 4,548 of those, which is amazing. He's only lost 2,094 out of 6,918. So he's got a win rate of 66%, which is excellent in my opinion. Now myself, since I've been on this Arena Chess site since 2024, 2 years, I've played 1,786 games, winning 967 and losing 703 and drawing the rest. That gives me a 54% win rate. So this young man wins games a lot more than what I do, draws less, and loses less, I think. So overall, the statistics would say he was a better player than me. But I'm going to show you the game now. Also, by the way, thank you everyone who's been watching the games. I hope they're enjoyable, instructional, the standard that you're pleased to look at. Now, let's have a look at this game. He was white. Steinitz Hawk was white, and he played d4 and I played d5. c4, e6, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, e4. This is the Queen's Gambit declined and exchange variation. The e4 coming afterwards, very, very interesting. So I played bishop d6. I'm not going to take c3. I'll play this line myself and you get a good game with white. I let him have the pawn. Pawn takes pawn. Because I want to get developed. See how I got two pieces out and he hasn't got any out yet. Bishop and a knight for the sake of a pawn. That's worth it. I'll try and get that pawn back later. So he's pinned the knight. I've castled. He's got the knight out c3 with the pawn. I tap the bishop. And what's he going to do? Is he going to move back or is he going to take the knight? Took the knight. So I retook with the queen. I'm very happy with this game. I've even now got queen and bishop out just to his knight. So now he brings out another knight, and I pin that with my bishop on g4. And he protects it with bishop e7 as he continues with his development so that he can castle. I play a knight d7. So all my pieces are developed. My rooks are connected. My king is safe. My queen is developed also. And I even have h6, which is good because that gives me an escape square on h7 with my king so that I can't be back rank checkmated. So he's now castled. And rook e8, rook e1. And now I played rook to e7 so that I can double my rooks on the e7 and e8 squares. But he's played his knight into the centre because he can't do what I just did, so he wants to try and get some swap-offs here. Now I had to, it's only 10-minute rapid play games that we play here, so we don't have an awful lot of time for calculating moves. So it basically, a lot of the time you're playing instinctively, but that doesn't come yet. There's still a bit of time. I considered playing bishop takes knight, and then he can play bishop takes bishop, or pawn takes bishop. But I decided I would take the bishop and attack his queen, and I'm expecting him to play knight takes knight, which he did do. And I took the knight with my rook, and he took the bishop with his rook. So he's still a pawn up, but he's still got that doubled pawn, and my bishop's in an excellent square on d6. I would expect him to go knight to b5 to try and take that bishop. It's my turn, and I return the rook back to e7, and he took, and I took with the queen. My position, I think it's good. Bishop for knight, well, in an endgame, bishops generally are better than knights if it's an open game and not closed with all the pawns blocking everything off. That way, the bishops are not so good. So he's gone queen f3. I think he just wants to protect that d pawn so he can move his knight, maybe. So he played g3 after I played rook d8, giving me total control of the e file. And I played a6. This is to stop knight b5. I don't want him taking my bishop. That's not the plan. He's played a3, b6. So what we're doing here now is we're moving pawns rather than moving the pieces because we don't want to change the situation so drastically as to move pieces rather than pawns. But you have to be careful because it has been said in the past quite wisely that when you move a pawn forward, you can never move it backwards. It's always there, forward, and it can never go back to where it was. So he's played king to g2, and I pushed that pawn on to b5. So I'm grabbing a little bit of space on the queen side. This is stopping him with his 4 pawns against 3. This is what's called minority attack. He's played b4. So that's okay. That stops me pushing my a pawn. But I think that was a bit of a weakening move. And I've now just played g6. So this gives me a chance to bring my king out to g7 and towards the middle if the pieces come off and get down the kings in the endgame. Rook a2. He wants to get control back on that e file by bringing his rook across, attacking my queen, and I can't take the rook. So I've gone bishop takes pawn. I decided this is the best way to go. This is a sacrifice, a piece of sacrifice for 2 pawns, which I've taken back, and I'm actually a pawn up, but he can get the a6 pawn with the rook if he wants, but he won't get control of the e file, which is what he wanted to do. So he's brought the knight now into e4. Still a good move, and still threatening the a pawn because I have to do something about knight f6 check. So I've moved my rook to c8 for the time being to get it out of the way. And he's brought the queen into f6. That looks dangerous, but it's not at the moment. He can't do any harm to my king. If he could have got the rook onto the same file as the queen, that would have been dangerous. But he's doubled up on my a pawn, so I have to move that pawn so that I'm still, if you like, a pawn up, but a minor piece down. Yeah, this was going to happen because he wants to attack my pawn on f7 with the knight and the queen by taking the pawn on d6. And this is why I played rook to c8, so that once I take and he takes, I can return my rook back. Knight takes and rook back to f8. So he's got a bit of an advantage because of the knight. So he's still officially winning this game, but I've got two excellent passed pawns if I could just get them moving. So he played rook across to e2, trying to bring it down to e8 and swap off rooks. So I've pushed my a pawn onto a4 first. And when he brought the rook down to e8, that allowed me to go queen to b3. Now this is such an important move because after he takes rook, you can't go queen takes f7 checkmate because my queen's covering that square. So he took the rook anyway, and I retook. Still nothing there for him at the moment. So he's brought the queen to e5, and he's probably trying to attack that b pawn on b5. So I pushed it on again, and now he's gone queen to c4. He's playing very crafty here because he wants to be able to catch me in a discovered check by moving the knight away with a queen check. So I moved the king out of the check square, and now he's moved the knight back to e4, looking to come into f6 again with a check. He can't checkmate me if I'm behind the pawns, only if he can attack one of those pawns, which is the f pawn, then he would have a chance to checkmate me. So I played my a pawn on. Now this is getting serious for white because I'm getting closer and closer to getting the queen, and I will be winning for certain if I can get it. So he has to come up with something. So he checks me on f6. I go to g7 with my king, and he's gone queen into e5. Again, he's threatening a sneaky move with his knight to get me in double check, or move a knight somewhere where he can make it better. So I've gone back with a queen. Now I consider this a good move because he can't play queen takes queen, pawn after pawn takes queen. His king or his knight can never get across, stop that pawn on a3 from queening. So he's not going to take, and his knight is under attack as well because I'm threatening queen takes knight also. So this move is seriously good, I think, for me. I've won my piece back at least. If he moves the knight away, I'll swap queen and I'll just get a queen, and that'd be great. So he moved the knight to h5, probably the only thing he could do, but he's going to lose that knight now because I'm still threatening the queen swap. And if I go king to h7, you checkmate me with queen to g7. So I've got to go on the back rank, king to f8. And he checks me on b5. So my guess is he's going to try and mop up those 2 pawns for the knight. But I can stop that. So after I brought the queen back, he took the pawn check, but then I can play queen e7, blocking the check and protecting that pawn on a3. Now again, I'm threatening queen takes queen and pawn takes knight. This is why I'm winning. Even though he's a piece out, I'm winning this because he's got nothing he can do. Even if he'd have gone check on to b8, I can go queen to e8. And if he goes back again, well, that's when I can then go maybe to, no, I don't know. I think he might have a draw. He may have a draw there. If he checked me on b8, that would be I can't go to g7. I have to go queen back, and then he could just keep checking me. Yeah. So I took the knight when I had the chance. Now he can no longer do that. He's got a queen takes pawn on h6 check. But he can't do too much more. He took the pawn, king into e8, and he took the pawn, another pawn on h4. But this is fatal because I've now gone queen into b7. So he's moved his king to h3 because he was in check. So I've gone queen down to b3. Now I can just protect that pawn all the way down to the a1 square, and he can do nothing to stop me. He played a check. Now the thing is, if he could get a perpetual check, or I can't get out of the checks, he would draw. But I'm not going to allow that. King to d7. Oh, he's played the pawn on to... He's played the pawn on to d5. If I take that pawn, he would then want to bring his queen down to a1 maybe, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but anyway, I'm not taking the notes of that. I'm just moving my pawn on to a2, and I can now play queen b1 and get my queen. So he's brought his queen out to f6. So this would allow him to check me on c6. So I did it anyway. I could have probably have taken the pawn on d5, but when he comes down queen to b2, I'd have to go queen a5, and he can block that queen for now. So I'm going to go for the queen and believe that I can escape the checks. Queen takes pawn, king d7, queen e6, king c5, queen c6, king e4. Now what I'm doing is heading for his king side, and I want to try and get my king down on the bottom rank, on the bottom, and hide on where he can no longer check me. He checks me again on f5, king to c4, checks me again on c6, king into d3, checks me again, but he can't win the queen with that fork because I can just go pawn takes queen and I'll have a queen. So now I'm going into e2, and now I'm almost there. I've almost escaped. Queen check on g4, king into f1, queen check on c4, and there we go. King into g1. He's got no more checks, so I'm going to get a queen. This is all I needed, that extra square, get a queen. He's gone into e1, but it's too late because I've got check. He comes out to g4, and then I queen. And I stopped him from getting a checkmate if I moved my queen, because he would have gone queen e1 while his king was on h3, and that would have been checkmate. But I knew what he was doing. So he played f4. Now I'm surprised he's carrying on because he's lost. But he's won so many games, he probably can't believe he's losing. So I just check him on G8 check and resigned. So there we are. That was the game. I hope it was enjoyable for you as it was for me. And I hope I was able to give you some tips and things about how to play, especially endgame chess, where you've just got like a queen and king, or a knight and a king, or bishop and king, rook and a king, and pawns. You have to be precise as possible. And that's the part of the game where you've got to really, really think, probably more than any other time. And yeah, I gave up a piece, and there was no guarantee I would win, but he did make a mistake which allowed me to get my piece back and have a huge advantage of those passed pawns, which was the dividend or the reward, if you like, for, I guess, my bravery of giving up a bishop. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll bring you another game as soon as I got one. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.